Good morning. Uh, for those of you seeing this later, in real time, it's mid to late June, and just a few days ago, Brian Wilson died. And those of you who know Beach Boys songs know that most of it had to do with fun in the sun, surf songs, that kind of thing. And what some may not know is that one of the tunes, Surfing USA, immortalized this town, because this is Redondo Beach, LA. And Redondo Beach is where I grew up from about the age of 7. This place to me is about as good as it gets. Even though I moved away from here years ago, I'm still out here 2 to 4 times a year. Just can't get away. And Los Angeles, for those of you who don't know, it is wonderful as long as you stay near the coast. Once you get into the density of traffic and then out into the valleys and deserts, it's a different story. But out here, it's really something. From here, if you go south, where the direction we're looking now, you got the stretch that goes from basically I'm around Nob Hill Avenue A. It'll run down to the end of the beach, which I'll go down to in a little while. And what you see jutting out in front of you there is Palos Verdes. And then around that bend, you'd run into places like San Pedro and Long Beach, Port of Los Angeles. So I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Give you an idea of why surfers like it so much. The waves aren't that great today, but you can't have it all. Okay, now here we are down the farthest end. You saw from a distance before. And this is the bend. It's called Redondo. It's just the round beach. For those whose Spanish is even worse than mine. And this is arguably one of the parts of the world that I have the most memories of. It's hard to say, probably for anyone, just how many memories they have of any given place. But for all my talk of travel, this is one place that I hope always to be in on a regular basis, and that I have so many memories of. This area here, if you look just past that red roof there, there's a bike path running along just this side of the sand, and it goes down a ways, and I'll be heading down there in just a minute. But what I typically do is ride a bike down here to the end of this path, and then jog a section of it in the sand, because it's probably the least occupied. This is a Monday, by the way, and so it's not very crowded down here. Further back, there was some junior lifeguards training, which they do sometimes. But right now, there's not much going on a Monday morning, Monday noon. But the reason I'm stopping here is this is, as I said a second ago, the area that I probably have the most memories of. And it's not just the beach here, but this whole area that's off to the side from here, which is called Riviera Village. It's like the furthest southern point of Redondo. This area here that those people are walking toward, that green area, it's a park now. It used to be called Rat Beach because it was pretty rough shape many years ago. So it's been gentrified, beautified, whatever you want to call it. But this area over here, headed back down in that direction over there, that's Riviera Village. And I've lived and known people who lived in many of these places. And part of what I'm going to get at today is the difference between what's here and what used to be here. And how I often point to places and say, as older people are wont to do, why that used to be such and such, and it just ain't anymore. So, but the one thing about this place is you can't really do much to change the basic outline. It's still just a beautiful coastal beach, and for as many people as are in this general area, it's still terrific to come down here. All right, here's where that bike path I pointed out ends. And then from here on out, if you look from here, just past that lifeguard station there, that's all sand. And then from then on, I don't know what, there's some kind of a field trip or something, the kids are on their way out, but from about that point there, all the way down to where the sand ends, it's not that far, it's maybe a quarter mile, I'm not sure exactly. It's usually underpopulated because it's you have to basically do the legwork. So people usually stop right about here where you're looking at now. And so what I do is lock the bike and take a jog out there, and I'll show you from that side where this town is situated. But it's part of the interest for me is the associations we make with a place, so that the memories I have of this town often make me think that those things are still here, when I'm constantly reassured that they are not. In one sense, it's difficult to dissociate a place from the memories you have of it. So I'm going to get out of the way of this crowd and try to get some different pictures for you. All right, so right here is where the sand runs out. As you can see right there, that's maybe a couple hundred feet in front of me. And then you got Rocky Coast, great spot for divers, surfers on better days. And this area here, you can see it's immediately hilly. You'd be in good shape were a tsunami to come. You'd be in questionable shape if an earthquake were to come, which they sometimes do. The other side of, around Portuguese Bend, the other side of this over here, right? You go around that for a few miles, you hit an area that has a lot of active land movement. But one of the things I just did in jogging from where I was before to here, I just happened to start jogging to the place where some other guy was jogging. We jogged along together and talked for a while. A guy's named Tom. Hi, Tom. And we were just talking about how much we love being out here. He's in Maine half the time, and I'm in Florida and New Orleans a lot, and so it's just interesting. We're both talking about how much we love this place and how it's, we're not around here anymore. We need to be, but if you can see this, I'm not sure from here that you can, but right back there is where the bike path ends, and then if you run along that shoreline, that's Redondo Beach, you'll eventually get to, that's Edison Plant, you'll eventually get to a pier out there. That's Redondo's Fisherman's Wharf, the pier in Redondo. You continue on, you hit Hermosa, Manhattan Beach, right? And eventually, way past what you can see now, you'd see, eventually all the way out to Malibu if it were a clearer day. And sometimes it is. Today it's just too darn hazy. You do get there's got a lone surfer and water threatening the shoes I brought here somewhere. Anyway, that's the lay of the land. This round beach will bend around so you get to places like Malibu. For those of you who saw the fires not long ago, the north, like straight ahead of where you're seeing now, Pacific Palisades, that area over there, where the fires got down to. So normally people think of it being something like the forests in the upper part of California, but some of these fires are starting to head awfully close to areas that are, I would have thought largely, way too cement and asphalt to burn, but there's enough trees. And when people talk about Santa Ana winds, the winds normally blow in from west to east. So the way that surf is going right now, Santa Ana's blow the opposite way, so that the fires up there can be, embers can be carried to Malibu, which recently had some fires, areas like that. So even a place like this is not completely safe. But in general, if you live here with that quick, high elevation, you're safe from most things. This is one of the blessed areas of the country. Great weather all the time, and it's a little on the dry side, at least compared to what I've been living in lately. But because you're right here in the ocean, you've got kind of a breeze and a mist that keeps it from being crazy dry. So it's just this area is just hard to beat, as my new friend Tom will attest. All right, here's something about running in the sand. If you've never done it before, running on the sand is different than running on pavement, which is what I'm standing on now. Instead of working your whole leg, it works just your calves. And so if you want something like that, you can take a real slow jog. And one of the reasons I'm stopping here is to show that the lifeguard trucks go by, or the people that do sanitation and stuff, clean the beach, and they make tracks and they even out the sand, and it makes it really nice for running. So if you get a chance and have a beach like this, go down and get behind a lifeguard truck or something like that, and go for some kind of beach run. I'm going to head on down now. I'm in the middle of a bike ride. Head on down to the pier and show you that. All right, down here at the end of the bike path, at least this part of Redondo, you have, for those of you who haven't seen it, what's in front of me is called ice plants, kind of shaped like icicles that refrigerators at least used to make. And they don't grow in many places. I photographed one somewhere, I think it was in South America, maybe Uruguay or something like that. You don't see these very often. And Uruguay, by the way, is very much like California or Florida in some spots. Anywho, here's the end of the beach, and here is Fisherman's Wharf, the Redondo Pier, and that's more or less the stuff that was there when I was a kid. All this stuff around here, these apartment complexes and whatnot, that's all new additions, new for me. And then here, if you look at this building right there, that used to be the old Redondo Library. This is in what's called Veterans Park, and we're looking at the back side of the building. I don't know what's going to become of it. I just saw it. They're doing some kind of restoration. It would have been one of the greatest houses in the world. I think it originally was one. I don't remember, but we used to study, cram for tests and write papers and stuff in there back in the day. So a quick shout out to anyone who went to South, where it became Patterson, or Alta Vista, Hillcrest, which is now something else entirely, and good old RUHS. This is Redondo from this end, right? All the way down to the end. After this, you run into the pier, and then lots of built-up stuff before you get over to Hermosa. And Redondo is divided into north and south. We're still in South Redondo. A little ways past this pier, it goes, when you get over to 190th Street, which is not too far from here, you'll see a big Kings Harbor sign, and then past that is North Redondo. There's all kinds of stuff. And this, all these areas, this, brings you back to young love and early jobs. I happen to have one in this particular area. And so it's a beautiful part of the world. And I hope I never stop coming here. But if you haven't been and you get a chance, come on down, enjoy yourself. Weekdays, you can see, are pretty sparsely populated, and this is one of the areas that's usually busier. Like yesterday, it was pretty packed. But don't tell anybody about that stretch at the end, okay? Because it's really kind of hush-hush, because that way people don't go down there. Or you can go, but don't tell anybody else, okay? See ya.